George Gershwin revolutionized American music. George Gershwin is considered to be one of America's greatest composers and pianists. Gershwin's music is still listened to and interpreted today over 80 years after his death because his music was revolutionary in its time. With help from his brother Ira, Gershwin composed many famous pieces of music that are still performed today.
There's a somebody I'm longing to see. I hope that she turns out to be someone who'll watch over me. I'm a little lamb who's lost in the wood. I know I could always be good to one who'll watch over me.
George Gershwin was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1898. His parents, Morris and Rose, were Jewish Russian immigrants who owned several businesses, including a restaurant, a dry cleaners, and a spa. They changed their last name from Gershowitz to Gershwin when they came to America. Morris and Rose had 4 children: Ira, who was the oldest, George, Arthur, and Francis. When his older brother Ira received a piano for his 12th birthday, George quickly learned to play and loved the piano. At the age of 15, George dropped out of high school and became a song plugger, earning $15 a week. Song pluggers are hired pianists who play sheet music in stores so people want to buy them. When he was 17 years old, his first song was published, "When You Want 'Em, You Can't Have 'Em," earning him $5. 5 years later, his first big hit, "Swanee," was published. His music reflected the time when he lived. New and exciting music represented the Roaring Twenties. Slower and sophisticated ballads reflected the Great Depression and World War I. During the difficult time of World War I and the Great Depression, Gershwin's exciting music and upbeat tempos kept the country going. After the war was over, Americans were happy and successful. Gershwin was very popular at this time. He was writing many songs and topping charts. In 1924, he wrote Rhapsody in Blue, what many would call his most famous piece of work. Rhapsody in Blue was a large orchestra piece which was clearly ahead of its time. Gershwin himself spoke of the Rhapsody as a musical kaleidoscope of America. Rhapsody in Blue has often been interpreted as a musical portrait of New York City. Later, in the 1920s, after writing the opera Blue Monday with Buddy DeSilva, George began working with his brother Ira to write musicals. George composed all of his songs and Ira wrote the lyrics to some of them. George and Ira's piece, "Of Thee I Sing," became the first musical comedy to win the Pulitzer Prize in 1931. Together, the two brothers created dozens of famous musicals. While in Paris in December of 1928, George wrote An American in Paris, another famous musical. Critics have called American in Paris one of the best musicals ever written. In the 7 years to follow, George and Ira created many popular songs and musicals and became very popular. In 1935, Gershwin wrote Porgy and Bess, his most famous opera. At a time before the Civil Rights Movement, when many African Americans couldn't vote or read, Gershwin was saluted for boldly bringing opera to a story about Black Americans. In 1937, George and Ira wrote the musical Shall We Dance. That year, the song They Can't Take That Away From Me from Shall We Dance received an Academy Award. Some of Gershwin's most famous pieces of work include Rhapsody in Blue, Let's Call the Whole Thing Off, Concerto in F, They Can't Take That Away From Me, Summertime, Someone to Watch Over Me, and I've Got Rhythm. He also composed many Broadway musicals such as An American in Paris, Shall We Dance, Blue Monday, Funny Face, Lady Be Good, La La Lucille, and Porgy and Bess.
Rhythm, music, my gal, who could ask for anything more? Daisy, in green pastures, my gal, who could ask for anything more?
After moving to Hollywood in the spring of 1937, George began to suffer from blinding headaches. A few months later, the doctors discovered that he had a brain tumor. In the summer, he began to have blackouts, so it was decided for the doctors to operate immediately. On July 11, 1937, doctors at Cedars of Lebanon Hospital tried to operate and extract the brain tumor. George Gershwin died almost immediately after the surgery. He died at the age of 38 in Hollywood and is buried in Westchester Hills Cemetery. Although it feels like George Gershwin was part of our musical culture for decades, he was actually died before he turned 40 and only wrote his music for 17 years. Unlike others at the time, Gershwin created music for different races and religions. He composed operatic, Jewish, folk, Scottish, Irish, African, pop, jazz, spiritual, and many other types of music. George Gershwin is known and loved around the world as a talented pianist and composer. He is one of the first people to create music that is truly American. Even though he was only involved with a small change, George Gershwin truly revolutionized American music.